What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Driver's Seat Podcast. My guest today is none other than the founder of KB Custom Fabrication. Is that right?
Yep, KB Wilton Vet.
KB Weldon Fab, Konner Kelley. Konner, how have you been, buddy?
I'm good.
That's it? Just I'm good? Didn't you just have a baby?
Yeah, just living the best life, I guess.
Got your hands full now,
Yeah, as if they weren't full enough already.
huh? I was surprised that you could do this, man. Have a baby upstairs screaming and a wife pissed off at you.
No, I'm pretty excited to be on here, man. It's something. It's definitely something I've always wanted to do. So pretty happy to do it.
Huh? Making me feel good on the inside. I appreciate it. So to get started, Konner, man, how'd you get started in derbying and stuff?
So my dad has derby since he was, I believe, 18. I want to say. And he used to live in Perryton, Texas, so that's where he started out. And then he moved up here to Lawrence, Kansas, and started derbying around here. Had me and my brother, and next thing you know, I've been in the shop with him since I was a little kid. Hell, I think he's got pictures of me popping chrome off and stuff in the shop on the. No, I just been helping him in the shop and everything. And then one day, I got the crazy idea to ask him to show me how to weld. And next thing you know, I'm welding everything on his cars, building everything. And then next thing you know, we go buy some couple cars and we're both running. So kind of how I got into it.
That welding time was cutting into Mitch's beer drinking time. That's why.
Yeah, I was too young and dumb to figure out that's what was going on. He had me.
Well, now look at you, man. You got your own business and stuff. You weld professionally, so it helped you out in the long run.
Yeah, that's definitely is very thankful for him showing me how to do it. Like he tells everybody else, man, he showed me, and then I just took the ball and ran with it. So I'm very blessed with the opportunity I've been given.
Oh yeah. I know he's very proud of you too. Every time I talk to him, he's like, "Thanks for supporting Konner, man. I appreciate it." And I was like, well, "Konner builds good shit, so of course I'm gonna support him."
Yep.
So you said you pulled a couple cars home. It's safe to assume that was one of those cars was your first one that you built?
Yep. So we brought home two square body Vics from actually Perryton, Texas. Or right outside of Perryton, I believe, but we stayed there and hung out with some of his old friends and stuff. But yep, brought back two square body Vics. My first car I built my first one. We kind of threw his in the back weeds because I was ready to start running. My first one was a '89. I think it was just a Crown Victoria. Super clean car.
Those Texas cars are.
Yeah, pretty much all of them. But yeah, his actually first show I ran was I ran at the Outlaw promotion shows back when Joe used to promote all the time. He had a youth class there in Oswego, Kansas, and we decided that's what I was going to run. So it was kind of like I want to say almost like a limited weld. You're still allowed like a full cradle and all that stuff, but it wasn't anything like mod like Blizzard Bash mods or anything.
Joe's mods were nuts too, though, back in the day.
Oh, I ran plenty of those too. That's what I turned in. But no, actually built that car. Both of us just kind of, before we started building it, we went to a bunch of shows like Razorback Rumble for a couple years, Blizzard Bash and all that stuff, and just kind of looked at everything and just learned, and just kind of built the car in our head kind of, and then just kind of took everything we learned and just put it all towards the car and figured out what worked and what didn't work for us then. And yeah, pretty much how it went down.
You had a pretty good starter car though. Those Crown Vics are hard, man.
Oh yeah, build them right. They're definitely tough cars.
A lot of people, especially these old iron guys like Tiny and people like that, they like to talk trash on those Vics, but they've done me pretty good since I've started running them.
I have no complaints. That's all I've ever ran. Crown Vics. All I'll ever run.
So how old were you when you got a drive finally?
Pretty sure I was 15. My dad had to sign a waiver for me to make sure he was okay with me driving and everything. I think I had a learner's permit at the time, but It was nice because in that youth class they limited the age group that could run. I think it was like 15 to 21, I believe, and I think you could only run if you have never won a derby too. You can they kind of bumped you up with the big guys. Luckily, whenever first run, got kind of lucky, and just from watching my dad and watching everyone else run, I just kind of I guess I learned how to drive a little bit and actually pulled off a win for my first derby, first time
Oh,
ever. So
really?
yep,
So instantly just got bumped into the bigger class.
yep.
Congratulations, man. You played yourself.
Yeah, no, joke's on me.
So when you're coming in, you win your first derby and stuff, and now you're getting to run with the bigger class, and you're running against these guys that have been doing it for years and years and years. What's your mindset going in on that?
It's a whole different mindset, really. I mean, it's not only is it just driving mindset change, it's a build change too, because the class changed a little bit. It turned into a whole on kicker class, full cradles, pretty much just weld pretty much whatever you want. You get away with it, awesome. If not, if they catch you, then it is what it is. But it's definitely a lot different, especially when you're running against people like Alan Winters, Michael Maxton, a bunch of guys are from around here, big name guys. I
Yeah.
mean, best caliber people too. I mean, they all ran Blizzard Bash multiple times, so it's just I don't know. It's hard to prepare yourself for it. It's just you got to go out there and just do the best you can, stay out of the way.
I mean, especially going out there as like a young kid, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And you're running against guys like that.
yeah. Luckily, whenever I ran, I was pretty good. I'm still pretty good friends with all of them, but Rhett Gluey and all them, Alan Winters, we're all good buddies. I think a few years after that, I think I ran that Turkey Bash team show with them. The last year they had it there in Amarillo. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it was nice to kind of have someone older that I looked up to kind of take me under the wing, I guess, and ask me to be on their team.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a good good thing to have when you get out there, especially as a younger guy, and you got guys like that in your corner backing you up. You know what I mean? So, you ran the Turkey Bash. That was a long time ago. Actually, I was at that show.
Yep.
What, 4 or 5 years ago now?
Yeah, I think that was I think the very last one was probably 4 years ago there in Wichita when they moved it to Wichita.
Oh yeah, that's not Blizzard or Turkey Bash, man. Turkey Bash is Amarillo.
But no, actually, I think I've ran Turkey Bash like 5 times. Um, 4 years in big cars. No, sorry, 3 years in big cars and 2 years in compacts, the weld compacts I had there.
You ran compacts?
Yep, yep, I do. I do run a little bit of compacts.
Oh, wait, that's right. I've seen
Yep,
the videos.
yep.
You're actually the second person I've had on here that's ran some compacts. I had one with Noah Sarnes a little bit, or I guess it's been a couple days now, but um, man, he told us that he would say that compacts hit harder than these full sized cars.
Most
They
definitely.
would.
It just somehow they build up way more speed, and everyone has an entirely different driving style. Everyone's
Well,
just going crazy.
you and Mitch built some.
The two-door Ford Explorers.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're a little bit unorthodox in the
Yeah,
compact class. Not many people were expecting y'all to show up with those.
yeah, they're actually under the wheelbase rule. I think our wheelbase rule this whenever they came out those rules for around here, I think it was like 108 inches is the wheelbase rule.
Yeah,
Kansas is like one of the only places that allows like small pickup trucks and stuff like that, like your Ford Rangers and Chevy Loves and Datsun and stuff like that to run in the compact class. But yeah, we found somehow we decided to run those. Um, I don't know how we got onto it, but we just seen one, and actually, I think what it was my cousin was actually daily driving one because we built three of them. He was daily driving one, and I think the motor blew up or something. So we kind of just sit there in the shop looking at it. We're like, started looking at the frame, doing some measuring, like, man, these would be pretty sweet in a mod compact class, and then ended up with buying four of them, and yeah, we definitely shocked a lot of people with those. That's for sure. Made a
I'm
lot
gonna
of new.
say, yeah. You showed me some videos on it, but before that, I had actually seen them. I think it was on Facebook. Those explorers were making the rounds, and everybody was talking about them. So, I mean, if you guys haven't seen these explorers, man, y'all need to look them up because Connor and his dad built some hard fucking cars, and
Yep, that ain't
I think
nothing better than E8 in a compact class.
you guys didn't. I think y'all took probably first every time, didn't y'all?
We went first, second, and third almost every derby. There's a couple derbies that we got our asses kicked. I think enough of the guys were tired of us winning, so they kind of just all ganged up and decided not this week. But
Yeah,
yeah,
well, you're probably.
we ran, I think we ran every single show that year that they offered for that class, and we went first, second, and third in almost every show. At least each of us were in the money. I should say every show. So
All right, Connor. So, you've ran both full sized and compacts, man. So, what do you like better?
I like the building of big cars. I don't know why. I just find it more fun. I think there's just because there's a lot more car to build. But I definitely like the driving style of like the compacts. Just the smash mouth, fast, hardcore driving. Man, it's just ain't nothing better than it after you do it. But I would definitely say I'm more of a big car guy than anything.
Compact heats, man, they get a little boring though after a while. Like the first, 5 minutes or so, it's
Right.
everybody just going balls to the wall. But after that, everybody's so they can't steer or nothing, and it's just low after that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of depends on the show too. The rules. I guess the compacts that we were in, they were more of like a mod, like kicker class compact, where pretty much just weld kickers in. Weld. I mean, it was a lot of welding, a lot of plate. Not a whole lot of stuff bent. You broke more internal stuff like steering and engine parts, and leaf springs and shit like that. So
Yeah.
they're definitely a lot faster paced. I think the longest heat we had, well, other than the 1 45-minute heat that me and a guy had battling for first and second in a local show, I think our average heat time was like maybe 10 minutes.
That's not too
Wide
bad
open.
then. I will give compact guys that, man. They're not scared of traveling from one end to the other. Just
Nope.
full throttle that bitch and send it.
Yep. And it's 10 times worse when you get into like the bone stock compacts, especially around here. That's actually turning into like one of the bigger classes around here too. Is like because we have like the limited, or basically it's like Blizzard Bash limited world rules. That's like our main class. Um, but we're starting to get into like bone stock full size and then bone stock compacts, and a lot of people are in the bone stock compacts. And it actually is one of the better paying classes. The bone stock classes are around here, so
Oh,
uh,
really?
yep, it's turning into a bigger class around here, and it makes it more affordable for everybody, which I'm all about. I
Yeah.
like getting new people in the sport. I know I'm a younger guy, but I'm only 25. But hell, I like helping out kids. I've sponsored a couple youth cars at Blizzard Bash, whether it was parts or mainly parts, but just I like helping the younger generation out. It definitely, I don't know why, it just means a lot to me.
Well, what the hell, man? Where's my sponsor at? I mean, I'm only 22. That's not that old.
We can work something out.
I still don't even have my KB hat or my hoodie or shirt or whatever you were gonna
I
send me.
know, I know. I'm getting ready to put in a new order. I'm trying to find someone to go through to get my stuff done. Just bear with me.
I'm not worried about it, man. You know how I am. I'm super easygoing about
Yep.
everything. We'll go ahead and talk about it, man. Speaking of your KB custom weld and fabrication, what got you started into doing that? Because you're building full cradles and stuff now for people.
Yep. So right out of high school, I decided I wanted to go to a Votech school. I was really intrigued with welding. I mean, obviously, because my dad taught me, and I just was doing it every single weekend whenever I was free. Hell, I took all the welding classes you could take in high school and all that stuff. So, fast forward, I ended up going to a Votech school there in Emporia, Kansas. They actually had a CNC plasma table. I got to learn how to run that. We had a robot cell that they kind of taught us how to program and just kind of showed us how everything worked. Got all our welding certs and everything. MIG TIG or MIG and TIG stick, flux core, and all that stuff. So after all that, I'd always wanted to get a plasma table. I don't know, I've always had that dream ever since I went to school. And then I kind of did some research and I just bit the bullet and did it. Bought one, and then I really wanted to start making my own derby parts because I was tired of buying parts because they're
Yeah.
so expensive.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, yeah. But I also wanted to kind of, I don't know, build new parts too. Still kind of playing around with that, but I've been kind of just selling a lot of the same parts that a lot of people sell, but kind of put my own twist of things. Um, I sell a lot of, full cradles, lower cradles. Obviously, you got one.
Yeah, I
And
got a
then,
lower cradle.
and then I sell a lot of uh, replica pointy bumpers. That's probably one of my biggest sellers. Um, full wheel center, small wheel centers, pretty much anything that you can cut out of flat plate, I make. And then I got a lot of stuff in the works right now this winter. Just got to find time to draw everything up and get it all
Yeah,
right.
that's
But
that's
yeah,
probably the hardest. That's the hardest thing for a derby driver is finding time
yeah,
to do anything.
yeah. It's hard to balance time with business and working full time and trying to build cars to run all summer.
Yeah.
It's definitely takes a toll on you, but it's worth it all in the end.
Well, I appreciate you for agreeing to do this, man. I was sending you something about Will Steinbach or Noah's podcast, and you were like, "When are you gonna get me on there?" And I was like, "Well, shit, dude, you're so damn busy all the time. When are you gonna be on it?"
Yeah,
So
I've actually started. I've been staying at the house on the trying to stay at the house on the weekdays with the kids and stuff and the wife. So it kind of gives me a little bit more time, I guess, at home to do stuff like this. But mainly,
yeah.
mainly drawing stuff up, getting ready for the
Well,
weekend.
thanks for
But
taking time out of your day, man. I appreciate it.
no problem, dude. I'm glad I can be on here.
Um, so you build wheels and stuff too, right? Like beef up rims, because I've gotten a set off of you, but I don't know if you were just making a exception for me or if that's something you actually offer.
Yeah, so I build wheels. I I don't have a stock of wheels, so I can't. You can't just call me and be like, hey, I need four SS wheels and two Mazda wheels built this way. I have my own personal stash of wheels, but it's hard to they're hard to come by. So
Yeah.
like I usually do it like if it's a common wheel I have, I'll build it and then just ask for them to give me a set of cores or something like that. But mainly I just try to build them basically using the wheels that they give me. It's just a hard market to get into because I mean not everyone has those wheels on hand. I think the
Well,
only guy that does is like that NLR guy, Jonathan Muse.
oh yeah,
He's got a lot of wheels.
he's had a little bit of time, and he's
Yep.
gotten that backing and stuff behind him now to
Yep.
build that stuff up.
Yep. Most
Um,
definitely.
that was one of the reasons I messaged you so many months before I needed my wheels, is because I was like, well, he's probably gonna have to find them, and
Yep.
I definitely didn't have any, or I wouldn't have been asking somebody to build me a set.
Yeah, it's all good. I usually try and keep a couple pairs of each wheel on hand. That way, just in case someone can't get wheels to me or can't get them till bash or something like that. I can still get the product done and just kind of wait, or I can just straight up sell them the wheels if I got enough extra that I could sell.
What'd you start doing then, like with your business and everything? What did you start out doing to?
So I started out. So I got my table like I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, like last week actually to the date. Like, I think it was like the 14th. But I started just first couple things I cut. Man, I was busy with a bunch of fire pits, custom
Oh
fire pits.
yeah, I remember you posting about that
Yep.
stuff.
So that's like the first thing I actually cut on my table. Derby related parts, definitely like wheel centers, bead stiffeners, stuff like that. Just pretty much flat stuff because I mean you can never have enough wheel centers or bead stiffeners.
Definitely not. Learned that the hard way.
Yeah, but then I started kind of dabbling into doing like bumpers and cradles and rear end parts and stuff like that. So trying to definitely expand my variety of stuff that I offer for everybody.
Well, I think you getting out and expanding like that, I think it's definitely working out for you because from
Yeah,
what I've seen on like your Facebook and stuff, you have a lot of people ordering your stuff.
yeah. I got a lot of people ordering stuff. There's a lot of stuff I don't even post on Facebook that I just forget to. I mean, I got probably stuff from Blizzard Bash I still haven't posted up of just stuff that I've made. It's just been so busy. And I tell you what, when it gets to like the big show time, like Blizzard Bash, Carnage, and stuff like that, and even hell, even sometimes like fair shows and stuff, it is very busy for me.
Orders start ramping up, huh?
Oh yeah, I
Nobody
think I'm
wants to pay
definitely
for shipping.
yeah, I'm definitely more busy when I don't run Bash than when I than when I do. That's for sure. Because I'm that table. I don't think that table shut off one time. I mean,
I was
other than
gonna
like the weekdays.
I was
But
gonna say you sent me a Snapchat video like probably 2 days before Blizzard Bash, and that table was just full of metal and still
yep,
going, and you're like, I've been here for 6 hours already.
yep. It's dude, it's nonstop. I just load one sheet after the other, and it sucks when you load it by yourself and it's a 4x8 sheet, a half inch. It's not fun.
um, at least it's working out for you though, man, and you seem like you're enjoying it, so
Yeah,
that's got to be worth it.
yeah. It's definitely been working out well. And dude, I'll tell you what, just the cool people you meet just selling parts, and you'd be surprised on who actually wants to buy parts from you. You know, I've had big name people ask me for parts, and you know, Joe Blow people that live down the road, just running fair shows asking for parts. It's just crazy the community that wants to support a local business too. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
What's cool about the Derby community though is we're all about supporting each other, and
Yep,
you don't find that in other sports like you do with us, and
yep,
that is definitely ragging on every other sport, motorsport, anything, on
absolutely.
everybody else. You guys are not as cool as us Derby guys, and that's all I got to say about it.
Yep,
So going back to what you said about having big name people buy stuff off of you, I mean, I'm sure there's nobody bigger than Derby Dallas here, but uh, run us through some people that have bought some of your stuff, man. It'll help you out a little bit, get your name out there. Well, if that person will buy it, then I've seen what his cars can do.
I've had. I mean, they might not be big people to other people, but I mean, I consider them big name people, I guess. But like people like Alan Winters, Brett Gluey, um, hell, even I don't know if anyone knows him, but Nick Erlacher, he's a big guy around here. Even Johnny Green, Gary Russell, and all them. They all support me. It's definitely nice to have those people kind of supporting your products. Um, Hell, I'm sure there's been other people I can't. You put me on the spot by trying to think of them.
Well, I know what you're meaning though. Like, I've heard of Alan Winters and some of those other guys, but you also have those people that you grew up watching that you're like, oh,
Yep,
he's a good driver and stuff. Because I'm the same way with my hometown drivers. Like Jeremy Rowland, Pork Chop, those guys. I consider them big drivers, even though they're really Texas guys and stuff. But
yeah,
I grew up watching them and looking
yep,
up to them,
exactly.
so I put them. I would say that some of those Texas guys are like you would probably say those Kansas guys could probably go and run Blizzard Bash and do just as good as
Right,
anybody
yep.
else.
Hell, now that you say Blizzard Bash, I remember a few other people like I think Lane Fredericks bought some parts from me.
Oh,
Uh,
Ferrix,
yeah, Fredericks. I know you're good buddies with him.
he's a good dude.
Yeah, and then like Brody Brown, he bought a bunch of parts from me for not only his bash car but for other stuff. I mean, he bought a cradle and stuff from me for another class he's running this year. So
Your parts are speaking for themselves, though. If you have people like that going out and buying them, you know what I mean.
yep,
So, I mean, that says something about your quality of work. So,
yep. It's nice seeing my part out there. It's kind of nerve wracking at times, especially when you're running like watching Blizzard Bash and you know what people have your parts and you're just like, man, crazy to
like,
think.
hope that weld doesn't break that I put
Right,
in there.
right.
Speaking of Blizzard Bash, man, you said you've ran it a couple times. How'd you get roped into running that show?
I've ran it, so I've been to Blizzard Bash twice with a car. I ran once and got loaded the next year. I was running limited. First year I ran limited weld. Ran with Tim Toddy and his two boys. Um, had a kind of a shitty draw. Drew Caddy Nation off go, um, and just had just nothing but bad luck. Bent drive shaft, completely brand new 1-inch column. Definitely just like rainbowed it. It's bad luck. Um, them
Well,
walls ain't no joke, that's for sure.
if you need a steering column, man, I know a guy. Noah can build the shit out of some steering columns.
I've actually been talking to Noah about it. He's asked me about a cradle, so I told him I'd definitely buy one of his steering columns. They look nice.
They are, man. I put one in that Vic you were giving me some pointers and stuff
Yep.
on, so I liked it. They're easy to put in. I was going for the whole welding tabs on it and then trying to bolt it down so I could move it, and it didn't work out, so I just welded the piss out of that sumbitch. So I might be having to order another one from him here pretty soon because I know my dumbass is gonna cut it up trying to get it out of there.
Right.
So wait, you got loaded? Was it your second year you got loaded?
Yep, my second year.
And does that happen to be the Vic you were sending me pictures of and being like, I did this to this car, man. That'd be a good idea for yours.
No, that wasn't that car.
Okay, I was like, this dude sending me pictures of a loaded car, telling me that I should copy him. What the hell, man?
I've built multiple Vics. God, I think all the pictures just seem the same anymore. But no, definitely. I got loaded that year. Pulled all my stuff out, sold some parts off the car and stuff, and then just set it back in the weeds for a couple years. And actually, it's the car I was running all this year. That black and gray one.
Yeah.
Been running it all year, all the fair shows and stuff. So been having pretty good luck with it.
So if you don't mind me asking, what'd you say?
So I'm pretty happy with it.
If you don't mind me asking, man, what'd you end up getting loaded for at Bash?
I'd rather not say. They didn't like a few things I had done to it, but it was kind of shitty because I got in line that morning at, I think it was like 9 or 10 in the morning. Sat in line all day, and then had to wait till the show was over. And then they started inspecting the cars again. I believe it was Friday night that we were getting inspected. Obviously that's a late night. I think it got over at 1:00 in the morning. So I go back out there to my car, and we don't get inspected until 3:00 in the morning, Saturday morning.
Shit.
Yeah, so it's kind of shitty that we had to wait that long, and then me and another teammate of mine both got loaded. He had a caddy and I had a Vic, so and left two Vics there by himself. So I think they ended up running singles class.
What? Never mind. You said they ended up running singles class. I was gonna say I seen a video of some Vics on YouTube. I'm sure everybody's seen those videos of those two guys taking out those 4 white cars.
Yep.
I was gonna ask if that was the team you were on or what.
I wish.
Dude, those guys were beasts. I don't even know their names or nothing, but they
one of
laid
them
it down.
was Ryan Songaluski. He was in the Bubble Vic, and then I believe the other one was Pete Hansen. He was in that Rivy, that 2-door Rivy.
I gotcha. Well, if you guys haven't seen that video, I recommend looking it up. It's
a wild
badass. So going back to you getting loaded, I won't ask you too many questions, but was it something you agreed with?
Agreed with. Okay, explain that more.
So like, whatever they found wrong on your car that it went through their head, hey, we got to load this guy. Did you agree with that? Or were you like, hey, this is more of a gray area type thing. I don't think I should be getting loaded for it.
I kind of agreed with them. I don't like the way they dealt with the issue. But I get it. You can't be, it's not a fair show. You can't be lenient with every guy.
Yeah.
So it was something that I could have fixed, and they didn't let me fix it. They just told me to load it. I think it was mainly because they were tired of inspecting cars, and they still had a line out the door behind us when we were getting inspected at 3:00 in the morning. So,
well, I talked to Noah on the last episode, and I asked him about him getting loaded at Blizzard Bash, and he said that he could see why they loaded him. His frame was a 1/4 inch too short. He cut it to the front of that body mount hole.
Yep.
And he told him he was like, if I cut an inch off of my bumper bracket or whatever. Can I run? And Austin Johnson had agreed with him, and but Kenny Money didn't, and it was so I like to get everybody's point of view on if they've been loaded. Did they agree with it or
Yeah,
did they not?
right. Yeah, no, I didn't really. No one really favored my side, which I get, but at the same time, it is what it is. It's in the past. I like Austin Johnson. He definitely works with you.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Money. Just haven't really had a very good, I guess, relationship with him when it comes to inspecting cars, getting my cars inspected. So I'll just leave that at that. But yeah, it seemed like the trend this year for everybody with a Vic was they were an inch too short or a quarter inch too short.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of local guys around here running limited weld that actually were, inch too short, half inch too short. So it sucks, but I know those cars will get in fine around here. I mean, everyone shorting them's the same around here, so it is what it is.
I was talking to Will at Blizzard Bash about it, and he said, "Man, as a promoter, you got to draw the line in the sand at some point on what you're going
Yep.
to let pass and what you're not." And he said, "It sucks that that's where they drew that line at, but that's their decision."
Yep, it
I
is.
can agree with. Um, God damn it, I lost my train of thought. This happens a lot, man. Believe it or not, I'm not very good at my job. That's why I have to have somebody edit this.
Oh, you're good.
Um, oh, that's it. We went to Capital Carnage. Brother did. He ran a Vic there
Yep.
this last year, and this is just speaking on Austin Johnson on how good of a guy he is. That dude found my brother had done some cheats that would normally get you loaded, but Austin Johnson gave him a chance to cut him out, and we ended up also having to cut out like half the roll cage, which I didn't appreciate that, Austin. But yeah, man, that guy, he's willing to work with you, and he's a good dude. So
Yeah,
I was actually supposed to go ahead.
he's definitely a good dude. Like you said, he definitely works with you on a lot of stuff. But he's just like any other promoter, man. They got to draw the line somewhere. So, and he actually sticks with his word too. So that's a nice thing.
Yeah, he doesn't switch back and forth like some of
No.
these guys out here. I actually got to meet that guy before I met him inspecting cars and stuff in Topeka. We went up there to Iowa to Webster City one time to watch Lane and some of my other buddies up there run.
Yep.
And it might surprise you, but Austin Johnson can lay the fucking hammer down, man. That guy was laying some shots.
Yeah, I've seen videos of him on Facebook, man, and I love seeing that Pound Town graffitied on the side of that car, and he's taking it to Pound Town. I love it.
um. So, what would be your favorite car to build? Because you've been talking about Vicks and stuff, and a lot of guys like Vicks, a lot of guys like old irons or Mopars. What would be your bread and butter to build and go run?
Bread and butter is definitely a 9802 Vic. You can't go wrong with them. But I do have a sweet place in my heart for a square body Vic for some reason. I've ran quite a few of them, probably 4 of them. One of them being one of my favorites, a 91 HD. Ain't nothing better than that. But definitely bread and butter is definitely a 9802 Vic.
You got started in a square body Vic, is what we were talking about earlier, right?
Yep.
That's probably why, man. I got started in a Cordoba, and I haven't ran one since that first year I ran that one. But
Right.
if somebody was like, "Hey, man, I got this Cordoba you can build and run," I would do it in a heartbeat because I think it's just something about your first car. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like going out there and popping your cherry in the arena with that first car. It's you'd build any of your first cars. Anybody
Right.
would.
Yep. I would definitely like to say I would like to build an old iron. I would like to run an old iron, I should say. But I just can't make myself spend $1,500 on a car, $3,000, $1,500 to $3,000 on a car.
It's a wagon.
I mean,
Wagon's closer to
it's crazy
five.
people pay that price.
Yeah, I'd rather go pick up a $300 bubble Vic from the old lady's alley or backyard
Yep.
across the alleyway over there than go and pay that kind of money for one of those
Yeah,
cars.
and then you can cut the cats off the car and get your money back damn near.
Exactly. Well, I mean, there for a while you could cut the cats off and make a profit off of it,
Yep.
which is even more crazy because up north, these guys will pay that money for, a rusted out Cadillac or Rivy or what have you,
Yep.
and then you can go down into Texas, South Texas and stuff, and pick up the same cars for half the price.
Yeah. It's just I know a lot of people that go down to Texas just to pick up old iron. Hell, I think my dad tells me stories. Hell, I think I went with him a few times when I was younger. He would just go down there on a Friday night, empty truck and trailer, and just see what he can grab. He'd go down to the Perryton, Amarillo area. Just make a weekend trip of it. Try and find a car Saturday. Try and get back Saturday night. If not, he'd look a little bit more on Sunday and come back Sunday afternoon and go to work the next day. I mean, I remember him telling me stories about that. Him and his buddies used to do that all the time. But it's you mentioned the price difference on things, like just from the north and the south. Hell, I think I heard last year that from some of the guys, some of my buddies up north, that hell, like a clean 9802 Vic. I mean, up north, like in Michigan and Wisconsin and stuff like that, they're going for $1,200. Actually, I think it was Mike Dix that was telling me that. They're. I think he said they're just plumb out of cars, out of Vics and stuff on the road and stuff. So it's just crazy to think that.
Yeah, like the price difference there is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw this PSA out there for people. Everything me and Connor are saying right now about cars being cheap in the South is wrong. So y'all just stay up north and keep buying your cars and don't come down here, okay? I'm just letting y'all know that.
They're all rusty down south. You don't want them.
I'm okay. Mid South, I guess. About the Lubbock, Amarillo, Odessa area, those cars are junk. Don't pick those up. Especially tiny. Quit picking up cars down there, man. They're junk.
Yeah, right. Gosh, how many's he got now?
Oh man, I went to his shop to film a podcast with him, and probably 30 or 40, or probably
Really?
more now, but because that was about a year ago, and that dude just loads up on them.
I know
And
he's got a couple Vics out there.
oh, he's got Vicks out there.
I'm pretty sure he does.
Oh
He just
man,
wants. He's probably got them hidden in the back because those are his favorite cars. I know they are.
he's he's gonna text both of us and be like, "Listen here, you little bastards. We know it's not old iron. It's not Tiny's old iron anymore. It's the Sick Vic shop, according to Bo DeRusso.
Tiny's new iron shop.
There you go.
Said it best.
No, and that dude, he's. This isn't talking shit on him or nothing, because the guy's pretty cool, but he's stingy with them cars too. Where I'll be like, "Hey man, what you want for that?" And he's like, "Nothing's for sale." Oh, all right. I'll fuck off then, man. My bad.
Typical old iron guy.
Typical any derby guy. Nobody ever wants to sell anything.
That is true.
We literally, like 10 minutes ago, yeah, man, the derby people are the coolest people on the planet. And then now it's like, derby people kind of suck. I can't blame anybody, man. If I had a stockpile like that, I'd probably be the same way.
Yeah, especially when they're each worth at minimum $1,500, even when they're rusty pile.
And I hate to say it, derby's not going to be around forever because there's only so many of these cars out there, and guys hoarding stuff like that helps prolong the inevitable, I guess, is because somebody's still going to have cars, but it's going to be a lot harder to come by. Stuff's going to get a lot more expensive, which does suck.
Yeah, it does. Wait until the day. Well, I think actually they quit making Crown Vics. I think the last year was like 11. They quit making them.
So we have until the 2011 Crown Vic just doesn't exist anymore, and then Derby will be done.
Yep, about to start stockpiling. They're going to end up being old irons,
right? I'm waiting for the day, man, that we get to that point where everybody's just like, you know what? This Toyota Corolla here looks like it could be a pretty hard son bitch. Let's see what happens when we plate it up and throw an LS in it. Right. It'll be a fun time, man. speaking of, the future of the sport and stuff, this is a question I like to ask everybody, especially older, younger, it doesn't matter, but just drivers in general. When you compared to when you started watching Derby and started to get into it and stuff, the rules have just changed so much. I mean, for me, they really haven't because I was like I've said before, I grew up watching the Outlaw Promotions mods.
Right.
But, talking to my grandpa and Pork Chop and your dad and
Yep.
those old cats like that, they've said, man, you'd be surprised at what the sport's turned into from back in the day. So, in your opinion, like, what do you think of that?
I definitely think it's changed. I think I've been driving in the sport for 10 years, roughly. Um, in the 10 years that I've been running, it's definitely changed. Not a whole lot, but just I mean, you look from where you started to where you are now. It's definitely a big change. But honestly, in the rules, I don't think the rules have really changed that much. I mean, yeah, I mean, it gets to the point like it seems like the trend is it goes, from bone stock to everyone's starting to want more plates, more and more plates, and then it gets to like a full mod point, and then you start losing drivers, and people start bitching and complaining about, oh well, this car's too hard or there's too many plates and stuff like that. Then it just kind of, I think it just
Yeah.
resets back to like a more of like a stock show class, and it just kind of it's like it's a revolving, I guess, course that it goes on. It just goes from stock to mod, stock to mod, stock to mod. But
That Go
definitely the
ahead.
stories my dad's told me from when he used to build cars, it's definitely changed a lot. I
Oh yeah.
mean, he tell me where he was, taking 74 glass house and pals and just kicking the windows out, chaining the door shuts, and just running them. Hell, I think he said he was using like 2-inch oil filled pipe for a cage.
Hey, don't talk shit on that. I do that anyways, dickhead.
But
Square
I mean,
tubing's
you look at
expensive.
you look at the stuff we use now. I mean, it's not unnormal. It's not uncommon to see, 2x6 or 2x8, 4x8, for just a sidebar, and then
Yeah.
4x4 for dash. It's just crazy the way that the sports evolved over the last, say, what, 30 years.
Yeah. Well, I've only been alive for 22 of those years, so I can't speak for the other
I've only
eight.
been alive for 25 of them, but just the stories that I've heard.
Yeah, I remember growing up talking to my grandpa about Derby because he helped Pork Chop's dad. Him and my grandpa were good buddies, and they build
Yep.
cars and stuff. And I remember talking to him, and he'd be like, "Yeah, we'd sit there with a clothes hanger and weld the door shut." He's like, "You guys have it easy with these wire feed welders." All right, Grandpa, my bad.
If only they knew what it's like to weld door shut on a Vic.
Oh, it's
Horrible.
horrible, man.
It's the worst thing in the world.
And you try to focus all your heat on the plate and then just kind of whip it back real quick, and
Pops at
but
you.
yeah, it's inevitable. You're gonna blow a hole, or you're gonna get covered in sparks, and it's just
Yep.
not fun.
Yep.
That's
I'll freaking pay people to come weld my doors. I have friends. I'm like, hey, you guys want to weld this weekend? They're like, yeah, sure. Some of the guys I work with, I'm like, I'll buy you all the beer you can drink. I'll show you what you need to weld.
and then halfway through, they're like, "Man, this beer's not that worth it."
They agreed to it.
um, I this was the first year I had the chance to weld my door solid
Yep.
because they changed that rule last year. CDDA did, and I started with my driver door, obviously, welded that thing solid, and I said, "Fuck this! We're patching the rest of these bitches."
Yep. 5 on, 5 off.
Exactly. It does the same thing. It's just you're not welding as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which,
Personally, I mean, yeah, I get welding the doors makes everything a lot harder, but I mean, is it not really worth the work that it takes to do a full on door plate? I don't think it is. Now, if you're on a Blizzard Bash, yes, I would say definitely weld your doors.
yeah.
Solid.
But like, I like CDDA's limited welds, man.
Yep.
You're like I said, you're allowed to weld the doors solid now. But I was like, oh hell, it's not gonna make that big of a difference. And I mean, it did. I'm not gonna lie. I should have welded them solid, but I was kind of crunched time and said, fuck that. I'm not welding them solid. But speaking of CDDA, man, and how we've been talking about rules, that's one thing that I can say about Chad is he's, even his mod class is still very affordable for people. and his limited weld is super affordable for people.
Yeah.
But he's also getting started on these bone stock points races and stuff.
Yep.
And I don't know if you've had the chance to run any of his shows or not, but
I don't think I've ran any of his shows. My dad's ran a couple of his shows. I think he's hell. I think he drove to Perryton 2 years ago with he had a metric GM that we built for around here, and he ran it down there in Texas. Ended up blowing the guts out of a 3-speed right there on the track.
Hey man, we've had Mitch come and run Perryton. Trey just won Perryton last year.
Yep.
When are you gonna come up and run
I don't know. It's gonna be tough to find time with the new baby.
I mean, I get it if you're scared. You can admit that. You don't have to blame your son. It's all good.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
These Texas guys hit super hard. I get it, man. I actually have a buddy. He every time I tell him that Kansas guys hit soft, he gets a little rowdy with me, and he's like, "You want a pet? You want me to come derby with you?"
Don't you live in Kansas?
Shut up. That's besides the point. I moved. Okay, so I go through this every time I sign up at the Derby. Get there, get my wristband and stuff.
Right.
Like, where are you from? In Perryton, Texas. My wife's always behind me, and she goes, "You're from Kansas?" Like, no, I'm not. I'm from Perryton. I just happen to live in Kansas. I'm Texas, born and raised.
Oh, and people, I swear.
What do you mean by that?
You guys are proud of that stuff, ain't you?
Damn Skiffy, man. That's part of it. You got to be proud of it.
I give my dad hell all the time.
Well, your dad's probably just like me and just like everybody else from that state. Fucking ain't nobody tougher, I can tell you that much. No, man, I like your dad. Every time I see him, and even with my wife and stuff, he makes sure to go out of his way and talk to us, and
yeah.
One time go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying one time in Salina. God damn it! Speaking of my wife, she won't quit walking around. But one time in Salina, or maybe it was Perryton, I can't remember. I've been too drunk with your dad too many times. But we were out eating out and stuff, and he came up and he's like, "You done drinking?" I said, "Yeah, man. I'm kind of running short on cash, so I'm just cruising right now. I got a good buzz earlier, so I'm cruising." And he goes, "Fuck that! I got you. I'm paying for your beers tonight." And I was like, "Hell yeah, Mitch!"
Oh yeah.
And I don't think he's paid for my beers ever since.
Nah, he's a good dude. He's definitely taught me a lot. Definitely taught me a lot of pretty much everything I've ever, I guess, learned, or I guess everything I've ever done on a car. And then I've just kind of taken it from there. Very thankful.
He's smart.
But build out in a shop right now. I'm just kind of in the between point of just making the next step of getting my own shop and stuff, which is in the works. But no, I'm very thankful for him. He definitely supports me in everything that I do, whether it's his company sponsoring, entry fees and stuff like that, or I mean, hell, even just letting me use his trailer, from time to, get to the Derby, go pick up cars, plate, whatever it is. He'll give you the shirt off his back. That's for sure. So
he's smart with it too, man. That guy probably knows more about Derby than me and you combined.
Yep.
Or he's probably forgot more than me and you combined even know.
Yeah, he's a big old iron guy, that's for sure. Used to run nothing but Impalas.
And then you have him out here in an Explorer.
Yeah. So funny story about that is, so my cousin's a big compact guy. He's ran compacts his entire life. The Bubble Mustangs, Ford Rangers, Datsuns, and stuff like that. So he always had a couple cars and setups laying around. He's given my dad 2 cars just to run. Just like, here you go, just run. I'm not using it right this weekend, so just go ahead and run it. Well,
the kind of
it always ends up I'm the one that gets it. So I've ran every compact car that was given that my cousin gave my dad. So he was tired of it. He was like, "All right, I'm done giving away cars." He goes, "We're gonna build Explorers. We're gonna build 3 of them. We're gonna go run all the shows around here." So I guess that's also kind of how we started running the Explorers. But
It worked out.
yeah, is also nice to kind of build something different. I
Yeah.
kind of like that. I see why Jason Dials brings something different to Bash and Carnage every year. Just a different style of build. It was definitely a lot of fun.
It's a good thing, or good way to challenge yourself too.
Yeah,
Just, I had never built a Vic before, but it isn't saying much because I've only ran 4 cars in total since I've started. But just going from a square body to a bubble top, it's a totally different thing, and
yep,
just learn a lot with each build.
yep,
Really, the coolest thing about Derby is everything's so different, and you just learn so much.
yep. And then once you figure out what works, man, you can build. You can have your cages where they just kind of. I don't like bolting cages, but you basically have everything pre-cut to where everything just fits right in, and you cut it out of one
Yeah,
car and bring it to the next one.
that's
That's
true.
kind of how the way all my Vics are. Everything just kind of fits back in the same place.
It all becomes like a cookie cutter. You just
Yep.
oh, this is good, transferred over. It's all
Yep.
gonna fit anyways. We're coming up on the end here, man. I like to ask people, where they're gonna be running, what they have planned for the next year, just in case somebody watching or somebody that likes what you do and stuff can go out and watch a derby or come up and meet you wherever you're at. You know what I
Right.
mean? So, what do you got planned for the next year? Because this video should be posted about New Year's. So,
I'm planning on running a bunch of the fair shows around here. For people that don't know, I'm located in northeast part of Kansas, Lawrence, Kansas specifically. But all our fair shows, um, I think we got a 4-man team show that we're gonna run. It's a bone stock team show. I like to get into
that'll be pretty fun.
The Honda Accords as we like to run those. Definitely a show to come watch. It's a lot of fun. It's a great show. I believe it's Lucky 13 Promotions puts it on. Great guys, great inspectors. But all our fair shows, if you're interested in running, look up Pay Up Sucker Promotions. Get a hold of Jesse Kimmy. Great guy to deal with. Definitely works with you on a lot of stuff, especially if you're an out of town guy.
Yeah,
He likes seeing people from out of town come in and just spread the variety of people that we have. That way the same people ain't winning. You don't see the same cars out there for the entire summer.
yeah.
But that's my big
Well,
plans this summer.
I'm trying to get out and go to more shows this year and go do more vlogs if I can't make it to Derby. So send me some of the details and I'll see if I can't get out there and shoot some videos or something.
Yeah, most definitely I will.
Because last year or this year we didn't get to shoot hardly anything because I was
Yeah,
new job and stuff and just trying to figure out the schedule, and
right.
why it was so difficult. It freaking sucked though. So I'm ready to get back into it. Hence why I've filmed 3 or 4 podcasts in the last
Yep.
4 or 5 days. So, but well, I appreciate you for being on, man. Thank
I
you.
appreciate you having me, man. It's been fun. We should definitely do it again. That's for sure.
Well, if you want to be on it again, man, I'm all for it. If somebody
I'm
wants to be on this show, all you got to do is message me, and I'll send you the link to join in on this video session here, just like I did with Connor, like I've done with everybody else. So, again, man, I appreciate it, and we'll catch you down the road.
appreciate it, man.